Oh, you think you've actually finally figured out your offense? Can I interest you in one of the worst defensive units in the entire league?
You are Locked On Patriots POSTCAST, part of Locked On Sports Boston, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome to the Locked On Sports Boston Patriots postcast, brought to you by FanDuel. I'm your host, Cam Stewart, at Real Cam Stewart on Twitter. This was arguably the most frustrating game of the season for me, to be totally honest with you. The Patriots lose to Jacksonville 32-16. And this run defense is just horrifically bad. One of the skill position players the Patriots drafted in the first two rounds looks pretty good. The other looks completely awful. And I'm wondering if they totally trust the quarterback. I haven't seen any reason why they shouldn't, but if you look at the middle two quarters of that game, you would probably be wondering the same thing. All that and more coming up on the Patriots postcast. I mean, it starts no differently than with the defense again. This was supposed to be a top 10 unit in the NFL, and what you have right now is a bottom 6 or 7 unit in the NFL. That it's kind of unfair that they've had one more game than everyone else so far, but they were supposed to be top 10 right now. Going into this game, they were 25th in total defense coming into the game. Awful, just terrible. And a bottom 5 running defense that got absolutely gashed today by a team with a backup running back in there. Travis Etienne was not in this game. You line up for the Jacksonville Jaguars offensive promo, bum quarterback, rookie receiver, backup running back. They all killed you. They all killed you today. And what really pissed me off about this one is that last real drive the Jags had, where they go for 19 straight runs at one point, and then they have to pass on 3rd and 8. And they loft one to the sidelines. It's on the first read, and Lawrence is just nowhere close to his receiver. And you think, wow, if the Patriots are even a middle-of-the-pack defense against the run, they could have been eating this kid alive all day. But they can't, because they're that freaking bad. They are that terrible against the run. And Tank Bigsby just absolutely gashed them today. You want to look at Tank Bigsby's game log this year? He had a good game against Indianapolis a few weeks ago where he ran for 100 yards. Other than that, last week against Chicago, 7 carries for 24. Against Houston, 7 carries for 90, 2 carries for 9. Not a single touch in a game he dressed against Cleveland. 12 for 73 against Miami. Today, you want to see what he did? How about 26 for 118 and 2 touchdowns? Just pounded you into submission. They really had one running back out there, and you couldn't stop it. In a stretch from the 3rd to the 4th quarter, they ran it 19 straight times. Because why would you pass against these guys? Why even put the ball into danger? Just run it the whole game. In the whole first half, they were 5 yards a carry, 9 yards a play. They end up at a pretty modest 6 yards per play the whole game and 4.5 yards per rush because of the last few drives. I mean, just awful defense. And last week, the head coach, Gerard Mayo, goes out there and says, our defense let Drake May down today. When Drake May throws for 3 touchdowns against Houston. Says our defense let him down. And I have to hear Boston Sports Talk Radio, Greg Bedard, brain-dead Greg Bedard on that Felger and Maz show saying, oh, this is what we're going to do now? We're just going to cater to the rookie quarterback and say that he doesn't do anything wrong and say that our team let him down. They friggin' did. They let up 41 points last week, and they were arguably worse this week. But they played a team that only had 1 win coming into it. So that's why it wasn't another 41-point performance. Instead, it was only 32. Congrats. You let them down again because you suck defensively. You put Drake May into a position after the first quarter where you had to score every time down. How is that helping a rookie quarterback? You were in a position where you had to score every time you had the ball against Jacksonville. Jacksonville, who was ready to keep their coach in London last week, leave him on the friggin' tarmac. You give him new life again. Boy, if Doug Peterson could coach every game against the New England Patriots, he'd be friggin' Bill Belichick. That's how bad this team is. Oh, God. And yeah, it's more frustrating than the Miami game because you actually had a glimpse of hope last week and you say, oh, man, Jacksonville next week? Whew, that's a real shot to win a game, not just look good. It's a team that couldn't get off the field against the Bears last week, ready to fire the coach. Jacksonville opens up at 8.5-point favorites on Monday, and we're laughing at that. They covered that and almost double covered it. God, this team sucks so bad, so freaking bad. And if I have to hear one more brain-dead color commentator say, oh, this is very unpatriot-like, the stupid penalties and the mistakes on special teams, they do 3 or 4 or 5 of those every game for the last 5 freaking years, and every color commentator is like thinking it's 2016. Oh, that's weird. Bill Belichick teams and a Bill Belichick disciple, they never do anything stupid on special teams, except for every freaking week for the last half decade. Every week. 97-yard punt return. Give me a freaking break. It's bad enough you can't stop them on offense, but then you can't stop their special teams either. 97 yards. Most teams are telling their guys to not even catch it inside the 10. You let them catch it inside the 5 and score. Oh, this defense is atrocious. Absolutely atrocious. It was supposed to be a strong point. And I know no Barmore, no Judon. I'm not hearing that excuse against the Jacksonville freaking Jaguars. They were ready to fire their head coach and were like steps away from moving on from their $200 million quarterback that they drafted number 1 overall. Last week, do you know what they did on the ground last week? They rushed for 68 yards against the Bears last week. 68. Today, they rushed for 171. They brought in their backup. They put Mac Jones in the game last week. I mean, Trevor Lawrence didn't even need to put his foot down. 15 to 20, 200 yards and a touchdown. He barely even tried. Last week, a team that was picking inside the top 10 last year forced them to put their backup quarterback in. Oh, just so bad. So freaking bad. But this is defensive head coach. Yeah. This game really showed just how bad the Patriots coaching situation is. And I know it's year 1, but this game really showed off all the worst parts about the front office, the coaching, and yes, the ownership of this franchise. And I will tell you exactly why coming up on the Patriots Postcast. First, I got to tell you about FanDuel. You NFL fans, you're looking for a big return like the Jags get on the punt coverage early in this season. Well, let's help you out with FanDuel because for starting here in the beginning of the NFL season, you can get a hunch in the middle of the game. And when you do that, you can check out the latest stats. You can view live play-by-play and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Put it all against the Patriots. $200 in bonus bets guaranteed with your first $5 bet on FanDuel.com. Once again, that is FanDuel.com. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So why did this expose how bad the Patriots coaching staff is? Well, I'll tell you, because you actually had some hope last week, and it got even worse. In the middle 2 quarters, they just abandoned what worked on the first 2 drives. The first 2 drives, the Patriots go for 191 yards, 2 scores, touchdown and a field goal. And it was because they were passing on just about every down. Okay. And Drake May was looking downfield. They were drawing up plays for him downfield. The first 5 plays were dropbacks, 9 of the first 11 on the opening drives. were dropbacks. They went 5 of 5 on third down. Their first 5 went for third downs. They converted 3 on the first drive. In the first quarter, Drake May, 8 for 10, 87 yards and a touchdown. First 2 drives, 9 for 12, 90 yards, touchdown. And it's like they just totally went away from it. They start doing screen passes. They start running dives on first and second down, get you to 3rd and 8. They completely abandoned a game plan that was working. Alex Van Pelt drew up the first 15 plays and then just took the rest of the week off. Just went sightseeing around London. He said, I'm good. We got our first 15 scripted plays. We'll be good after that. On the second drive where the Patriots scored that field goal, the Jags went offside 3 times. I don't care at what point in the game that is. If there is a team that goes offsides 3 times on the same drive, that team should not be beating another NFL team. They just shouldn't. I'm sorry. Instead, they crushed the other team. They crushed them. And this blitz-happy defense and how strong they'll be against the run, just gashed again. Awful defensive unit, just terrible, just absolutely terrible. And I talked about it in the open. You've got 2 skill position guys you drafted in the first 2 rounds. One of them looks pretty darn good. The other is Jalen Polk. How much worse can he get? I know it's year 1. I'm not saying he's an absolute bust yet, but how much worse is this going to get before it gets better? He comes into the game with 24 targets on the year and 10 catches. Today, he has 3 targets officially. All 3 hit his hands, no catches, completely shut out. They don't credit him for a target on the 2-point conversion where he slipped. Because, I mean, I look how great Jalen Polk's been all year. When you have a crucial 2-point play in the 4th quarter, you know who I want to go to? That guy. That guy with 3 targets gets a hands on all 3, and he's playing freaking handball goalie, just parrying them all away. No interest in catching the football. But, is he going to tell me again that he's got the best hands in the league? That's what he told me this week. Is he going to tell me again this next week he's got the best hands in the league? Oh, he's not worried about it? I'm all for confidence, but how about some goddamn accountability? The kid stinks right now. Absolutely stinks. He is N'Keal Harry 2.0. No separation, rock hands. That's N'Keal Harry out there wearing number 1 once again for the New England Patriots. That should be a connection. Drake May, Jalen Polk, first 2 guys off the board for your draft board, both skill position guys. That should be the connection. Instead, Drake May is not only spreading the ball out to everyone else, he's actually making a connection with a guy you just about gave up on in training camp, in Kayshon Boutte. 33-yard catch to him again. I don't know what happens with Pop Douglas. Apparently there was an illness in there, but it sure as heck looked like he dropped the ball in the first drive, and then they benched him. Which I'm all for discipline, but the reason why Bill Belichick's discipline was so great was because he did it to everyone. No one was excused from that kind of discipline and being benched when you make a bad play. But it sure looked like Pop Douglas was benched for at least the rest of the first half, and Jalen Polk is out there dropping every freaking target he gets. Does he get benched? No, we just go to him every drive. Every drive they go to him. And I'm sorry, it's so funny to me that we're all sitting here worrying, fans, front office, coaching staff, ownership, we're all worrying that if you put Drake May in there too early in the season, is his confidence going to get shot and he's going to be ruined? And they're like literally working the whole season around that. But the other young guy they have at skill position, Jalen Polk, they don't mind throwing it to him every time down, and he's not going to catch it. They're not worried about working him into the system and making sure his confidence isn't shot. How can he have any confidence? He stinks. 10 catches on 27 targets this year. Every 3 balls you throw at Jalen Polk, he's going to catch 1. Every time he's open enough to get a target, every 3 times he's going to catch 1. And he's going to get his hands on every one of them. That is horrifically bad, but that fits right into Patriots wide receiver bad. He is adapted to the team culture right away. He said, I'm a second-round pick, receiver, New England Patriots. Oh, I have to suck at football. He nailed it. He got it down. I'll give him that. It feels like such a waste right now. It's halfway through season 1. I know. I'm not ready to call him a bust. But it's got to get better. I'll say this about him versus N'Keal Harry. He's on the field, and that's probably out of necessity because the rest of the unit's so terrible. But he's on the field. He gets open just enough to get these targets, and he gets his hands on him. He just doesn't bring him in. First play of the game, he's dropping a pass where he's got both hands on it. And I couldn't believe the play draw up on 2-point conversion. I mean, it's a good enough play design, but there's really one route that Drake May is looking for there. And the one guy you're keying on is Jalen Polk. He can't catch the football. And in this case, he can't even get up off his knees to get close to the football. Why is that your only option on the 2-point play? Oh, it's just disgusting, man. It's disgusting to watch. Ugh. And you got me up at 8:30 in the morning to do this. Every week now, the good folks at Locked On, whom I love working for Locked On, love doing Locked On Baylor, love doing this postcast most of the time. I love the people I work for and work with. But every week, I get onto this postcast, and I'm like, are they paying me enough for me to watch every snap of the Patriots season? Are they paying me enough to get up at 8:30 in the morning Central Time and watch this freaking team? I can't even, I get the Patriots suck. Trust me, I watch every snap. I understand that. I understand that expectations should be low. But this was another 1-5 team that got laughed off the field last week by a team that's going to finish 500. The Jags were so ready to get rid of Doug Peterson. And again, the Patriots just save him. You want an NFL career, Doug? Don't worry. We got you. We'll work it out for you again. Oh, it's amazing this guy has a Super Bowl. He outcoached Bill Belichick in a Super Bowl. They're giving him an absolute new lease on life. Getting outcoached by Doug Peterson should be grounds for immediate firing. I don't care if you're halfway through season number 1. And again, I'll just come back to it week after week after week after week. Boy, it would have been real nice if they at least interviewed somebody for the job. Every loss, I know there's 6 Super Bowls for this ownership group. I know. Trust me, I lived through it all. And that's a lot of leeway, a lot of slack. But every loss, every stupid coaching decision has to somehow come back to them. It has to. They didn't interview anybody else. It's not like they had 5 candidates in there from around the league. They said, nope, this is our guy because 5 years ago, he impressed me on a trip to Israel. They didn't even interview somebody else. Incredible. There was at least a competent, above 500 NFL coach out there who had won a couple playoff games, who was a Patriots legend. And you just said, no, we're good, Mike Vrabel. We are good with Gerard Mayo. And we are okay with this absolute dog product every week. We're okay with that. And under the false guise of, well, we're just going to make progress. They're going to ruin this quarterback. They're going to ruin him. And anything they do this season that's positive is in spite of their coaching, because Drake May clearly showed you he could get you some wins if your defense is even just sucks a little bit. Instead, they suck really, really hard right now. But this quarterback is showing you something. And I will go over that coming up next on the Patriots Postcast. First, I got to tell you about Gametime. If you're looking to get out to a Patriots game this year, boy, is it going to be cheap. Boy, are you going to find a good deal. And the best place to find that is through Gametime, because what you do is you go in the app, you toggle the all-in pricing. So those, $10 tickets that you're going to see, that's actually the price you're going to pay. You're not going to get hidden fees like a bunch of the other ticketing websites. Plus, you get the view from your seat before you hit purchase. So you actually get to see that you're not sitting in an obstructed view. So when you're going to Fenway next year, that's going to help out a lot. Plus, you get backed by the lowest price guarantee. Your Gametime is going to credit you 110% of the difference. And your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime Picks. Download the Gametime app, create an account, use the code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download Gametime today. What time is it? Gametime. Oh boy, Liverpool's going to lose too. Not a great weekend for you guy. But we're talking Patriots. Drake May, did he look good today? Yes, he did. Once again. And it just stinks that this is the team that's around him. It really does. 26 of 37, 276, 2 touchdowns, no picks. And spread the ball around. I mean, receptions for... Oh, nope, not Jalen Polk. 9 different pass catchers. Did you even know that the Patriots had 9 guys on the team that could catch a pass? Drake May unlocked that. And again, the first 2 drives, he was on it, man. They had a game plan for him, first 15 plays. And then Alex Van Pelt got tired earlier in the week. He needed to catch up on his jet lag. He just said, 15, that'll be enough. Play in Jacksonville. Nope, got your ass kicked. And that's what makes this so infuriating, is Drake May clearly gives you hope here. And yet the rest of the team is so awful and their coaching staff so terrible that it's not going to matter. And maybe this is a good loss for the Patriots. I talked with some friends about this week. Was this a good game for the Patriots to lose? Probably, because Jacksonville is going to be right there for a top 5 pick too. Trust me. And now you've got the tiebreaker. Now you've got the tiebreaker. But I obviously don't think the Patriots are going to win very many games this year. But you don't even need them to get the number 1 pick. You don't need them to. They're not picking a quarterback. They're picking a left tackle. Which last year, Joe Alt went, 5th? 6th? Like, they don't go off the board 1 or 2 anymore. You don't need that. And so the Patriots can afford to win a few games, but now they have got the tiebreaker over Jacksonville. By the way, Liverpool go 2-1. It's just so infuriating to see how good one player is on this team and how much more involved he gets the rest of the offense, which they didn't have for 5 weeks. And yet they still can't get out of their own way. They're losing by 2 touchdowns to one of the worst teams in the league. Like that's embarrassing. That is so embarrassing. But Hunter Henry, 8 catches. JaMychal Hasty, 5 catches. Hooper with 4. KJ Osborne got involved. That's the Drake May effect. Man, the kid looked really good today. But when you abandon the game plan in the middle of the game and your defense is so terrible that you need to score every time down, what chance does he have? And by the way, looked much better against pressure today. Much better. We do the turntables every week. What was the play or the sequence that sunk the Patriots? Usually, because that's 6 straight losses. What sunk the Patriots in this game? And it goes without saying. So, I mean, it's the second quarter. It's the second quarter in which the Jags scored 22 points. It was 7-0 at the end of the first for the Patriots, and 10-0 a couple plays into the second. And then Jacksonville wakes up. Second drive, they scored 2 touchdowns in a row after falling down 10-0. And in their first 3 drives, 50 rushing yards, 5 yards per carry, 9 yards per play. And then you punt it to them inside the 5-yard line. They take it 97 yards for a touchdown. And then you go offside on a freaking extra point, and they go for 2. And a 2-minute drill before the half, a 1.5-minute drill before the half, in which the Patriots are not getting the ball to start the second half. They're running the ball. And they go 3 and out. That's where it turned. The 97-yard touchdown. I mean, look no further than that. It's terrible. I didn't even have any notes. I didn't have any notes in the fourth quarter, really. It was so terrible. But yeah, once again, that's a team that rushed for 68 yards last week. 171 this week. No big deal. No big deal at all. At least you got the tiebreaker on them now. So there's that. And you've kept Doug Peterson in the league another week. Did that too. 6 straight losses for the Patriots, most since 93, before Kraft bought the team. It is the worst Patriots team I've ever seen, which beats out last year's team for now. There's still opportunity with this quarterback for it to get better, opportunity that was not there last year. But it's just a shame how far this Patriots defense has fallen. I can't believe if you had told me 2 weeks ago after the Miami game, you're going to be bitching up, down, left, right, and center after the Jacksonville game, but it's actually going to be about the defense and not the offense, I would have laughed you off the field, man. If you had told me your offense is in a pretty good spot for the personnel that you have, it's in a pretty good spot right now, but it's your defense that's so god awful, I would have had you committed. But here we are 2 weeks after that, and that is exactly the case. Is the Patriots offense flawless? No, but compared to 2, 3, 4 weeks ago, it's another world. It's awesome. And if you had a competent play caller in there, it would be that much better. But you don't. You're just relying on your rookie quarterback to do absolutely everything. Shout out to you, Drake May. You're the only hope this franchise has, and the only real sliver of hope. Like, there's really no other person to even put on the poster at this point. Patriots lose by 16. Thanks for those of you tuning in live. For those of you who are following afterwards, get down involved in the comment section. Let me know what you thought about this game. Anything I missed? Anything that was worse than this rush defense? Where the hope is from here? Do you want them to win a couple games? Let me know down in the comment section below. And be sure to like and subscribe and tune in tomorrow. Mike Debate, Locked On Patriots, going to have a little bit more level-headed, less shouting than I had. And he will break this thing down for what it's worth and what to look forward to going throughout this season. And he will keep you briefed through the rest of the week ahead of next Sunday's dude matchup, and get you ready for that one. Who are they playing? Don't even know at this point. Don't even know. Kind of had it in the Jags basket, and we're done with that. Thank you for making the Locked On Podcast Network your first listen today and every day. Be sure to keep up with Mike on Locked On Patriots the rest of the week, and we will be back next Sunday after the Patriots game, right after that thing hits zeros and the Patriots lose, for the Locked On Sports Boston Patriots postcast.